will call the March 1st council meeting of the Irmo County Council to order, and I will recognize Councilwoman Kathy Connor to lead us in the pledge of allegiance and the invocation.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Lord, show us your mercy, give us enough wisdom to get through this meeting and do your will. Take care of everyone in our town and all the events that go on. Keep us safe and keep us under your protection. We ask this in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen.
Next item on the agenda is the reading of the minutes for February 16th.
Where's Eric here?
What?
Where's the attorney?
He has a couple sick children he couldn't make it.
Oh.
Couple 6 children here making that. Do you have this contract?
We don't have a contract with him. I don't think we do.
No.
Yeah, we just have an agreement, yeah.
It was a probation-like thing for 6 months, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it written down?
But it's not required that he be here, and that never was even on the previous.
That's correct.
So we don't have a written contract with him?
We do
Not yet, we were waiting to see how it worked out.
Well,
I think.
we were waiting to kind of figure out if we were going to keep them and then whether we were going to do a, what do you call it, flat fee thing.
Yeah.
But I only think with the previous attorney we had a contract. And technically you really can't because it's a 2-year, whatever you call it type thing. It can be every 2 years you got to be nominated, whatever you call it, reappointed.
Yeah, he's appointed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
something
what does that mean? He's appointed, he still has a contract, doesn't he?
We didn't have a contract with Jason. I don't think. He was appointed.
His responsibilities is written down. I don't know where it's
Now,
supposed
we
to.
went over his responsibilities before he was, didn't we? Sitting up here?
I don't, you got a copy of the responsibilities? You got a copy of his responsibilities written down?
No, we used the same plan that we had with Mr. Moore, and we didn't have a contract with him for 30 years.
Do we have a list of what his responsibilities are, is what I'm asking?
We do not.
Okay, can we get one of those written up so we can look at it? Can we put it on our next agenda so we can prove it or look at it?
His responsibilities are whatever council determined them to be. Well, I say we don't have a contract with him.
So I'm saying, we don't have a written responsibility list for the town attorney, but we just $200 an hour, whatever, okay. All right.
But we did discuss it. I mean,
I know, I'm saying it was discussed, it was talked about, but you're saying you don't have a written list of responsibilities. I don't
Well,
understand that.
We have an agreement that he charges us $185 an hour, but we have no, I mean, he's a lawyer. I mean, he's here for legal advice. We don't tell him what his responsibilities are. He's here to give us legal advice if we have a legal question.
Yeah, but he's not here tonight, and his second is not here.
That's correct.
Okay.
There's nothing in there that says he has to be here at all the meetings.
And I think there were
When
times
Jake couldn't make it to the meetings, we had his mini here, or second.
sometimes, not all
Okay.
the time.
Correct.
So we don't have that same luxury with Eric?
I think there are other people there, but I think it's also the same as it was before. There's no requirement that he be here anytime, really. I mean, there is.
Okay, so you're telling me we have an agreement to pay somebody $200 an hour, and there's no requirement for him to be here to make the $200 an hour, and we don't know what his responsibilities are. That's what you're telling me.
I'm saying his is the same as it was with the previous attorney. They can be here or not be here, it's not a requirement, it wasn't prior, it wasn't in the previous. And I think he's got sick family, if I understand that correctly.
Right. and
That's fine,
We're not paying him. He's not
That's
here.
fine, but he has to send a replacement, is what I understood the old attorney's responsibilities was. Now, this one doesn't have a replacement here, and I was just wondering why he didn't. So, I tell you what, all right, okay. I'll
I
get
mean,
you
it
on
can be
that.
placed on a future agenda if you want to make more stuff, but council would have to approve it. It wasn't anything we did in the past.
Okay.
But, let's see, we were at reading of the minutes. Is there a motion for minutes to be approved as written.
So moved.
And a second.
I second.
Any discussion? All in favor then of the minutes to be approved as written, do so with show of hands. And let's see, next thing is administrative briefing. Mr. Brown, anything you'd like to add?
No, sir, I don't have anything.
Okay. Any questions of Mr. Brown?
What's this deal with this hydraulic study?
That is what Richmond County gave us. They have received our study from Dennis Corporation. These are the things that they are willing to do. Alternate one on the first page was pretty much the Dennis Corporation's maintenance responsibilities they felt that someone needed to fix. And then the responses are from Richmond County. This is what they're going to do to get the ball rolling.
And I think it said they're supposed to come out here and look at all this stuff and kind of, I guess, get back with you and let you know.
And that's what they've outlined here. What they're going to do is what they're going to do right here. Wesley and
Now, why have been out?
well, Allison's come out, but I don't think Wesley has. I haven't seen him. And then once they look at all the stuff that needs to be done, they'll come back and say, well, this is what we can do based on how much money they're going to spend over here.
All right, did we go over this with Dennis, with Dan Dennis and his people?
No, he's the one that gave us the report and listed all alternate one. I went over it with Richmond County, Director of Public Works.
But I was hoping that we could concentrate on one section at a time, you know, that Charing Cross and, you know, that section. Shillingford, like that area first, and then go expand it out to the rest of the things there. I don't know, is this covering that Shillingford, Charing Cross area? Or?
This is everything that covers what was an alternate one,
Right.
the maintenance fix that Dennis Corporation put in their report. I don't know where they would start. They would start up by Woodrow Street, or if they would start down.
That's what I'm saying, I think that's, okay, but I mean, I'd like to talk to Dan or Dennis Corporation about this, what they're gonna do, and see that it's, you know, in commensurate with what they had put on their report to us. That it doesn't, that they don't start with a bigger scope of fixing stuff, but don't get the actual minute Shillingford, Charing Cross done, right, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And that's what I'm saying, I would like to talk to Dennis about this, okay. So I guess we haven't forwarded that to Dennis, or Dan Dennis, or anybody over there. Okay.
I could send it to them. I mean, we sent it to Richmond County, and they're the ones that we want.
Yeah, this is your response back to us, okay.
And when it says I, is that Allison?
Mhm.
That's
It
writing
is.
this to you?
That's correct. She's the engineer of record and the hydrologist.
And this Wesley, is he, who is he?
He's her assistant.
Okay. So evidently this report is from her telling,
They were hoping to get out and get started this week, but I haven't seen them.
I mean, this is going back to you, or is this going back to the guy over Richmond County?
Or this was given to me by Mr. Osbeck. He is Director of Public Works.
Yeah.
She was reporting to him, and he
That's
kind of
correct.
gave you a copy of it.
Yes.
Okay. Any more questions from Mr. Brown?
No, except this was more than I expected from Richmond County, which is good.
It's good.
Yeah, at least they,
Responded.
They agree they need to spend some money and do maintenance.
Yeah.
They'll just spread it out, though. They won't come out and do it all at one time, I'm sure.
and I think it said they are saying that they're gonna try to set up a schedule after they get it done to make sure they
They're supposed to.
keep it.
Yeah. A list of what they're going to do to start off.
Make sure they kind of keep up with that too.
You'd be happy you're going to do something.
Yeah. Let's see, no more questions, Mr. Brown. The next thing we have on our agenda is a presentation from Ms. Adria from Lakeland Country.
Mayor King and members of the Town of Irmo Council, thank you for the opportunity. I'm Miriam Atria, President and CEO of Capital City Lake Murray Country. We are your neighbors. We are in Irmo. Our mailing address is Irmo. We've been promoting this area for tourism on April the 7th for 35 years. We're celebrating our 35th year in business. And we are one of the state's 11 regional tourism organizations. We are mandated by the legislature to promote Lexington, Richland, Newberry, and Saluda counties for tourism. We use Lake Murray as the lure, the hook to get the visitors here. We are also well known for many large events that we've been able to attract on a national level to generate tourism dollars into this area. We just received the 2015 Champions of Economic Impact Award in sports tourism. And this was because of the Forest Wood Cup, which generated $25.7 million in economic impact from tourism. So when you can have a national publication recognize this organization's work, a staff of 7 that it works very hard to promote this area for tourism, and our competition, y'all, is strong. Maryland, Greenville, South Carolina, we beat out Bassmasters. I know many of you are familiar with that event. Tennessee, Alabama, all kinds of sporting events. Those were our competition, and we won the award. So we're very proud of that, and as we go into our 35th year in business, that's a great accolade. We are here tonight to request some funding for consideration from the council from the accommodations tax collections. Our organization is the marketing organization for tourism for this area. We have on staff, I have 30 years of marketing and tourism experience, actually getting ready to be 33. I have another person on staff that's got 17 years, another person on staff of 22 years. So we have quite the expertise at our office and have won numerous state tourism awards for the efforts in our marketing area. We are spending approximately $678,000 to $800,000 a year on what I call direct marketing and promotion. No salaries are in that. We are funded through the state of South Carolina, through the Department of Tourism, $200,000+ a year to operate our facility. Our facility, the Visitor Center, located in the historic Lord Plantation Home, is getting ready to undergo some major renovations, but our facility has been attracting visitors from all over the world. I provided the mayor with our annual report, which kind of gives you a feel for where these people are coming from all over the world. We have 20-some foreign countries walk in the visitor center. Now, when they come in, we book their reservations. If they are looking for a hotel, well, we know where one is, right down the road here in Irmo. We are bringing in the South Carolina Welcome Center staff. They're coming in the end of April to stay in that hotel. Golf writers that are coming in for the Masters. We're booking rooms for the Masters in that hotel. We're booking bus and group tours. We go all over the United States to promote what this region offers for tours. And we had to get a state law passed to get our visitor sign put out there on the interstate to lead the traffic directly out to the visitor center. We are open 7 days a week and are now under video surveillance. Last year, our organization ran our national television ad, and it was delivered to over 578 million households across the world. This number is verified through the Department of Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. Everything we do, cancel checks, full tear sheets, affidavits from radio stations, affidavits from television stations, etc., are forwarded to all of our funding governmental partners. And then we go through 2 audits at the end of every year. So I often laugh and tell our staff we're in the finance business because we actually create a marketing plan, deliver the marketing, and then in the next quarter, we're getting reimbursed for what happened the previous quarter once all the checks have been written and everything's cleared. So a lot of effort has been delivered by our organization to help tourism grow. We receive 30% of the accommodations tax money in Lexington County. And since we took over that, their accommodations tax funds have grown. So we take our jobs very seriously, And we hope that this council will take serious consideration into funding us. Specifically, I remember getting on that airplane with Mr. Irmo Overstruck, the blow-up Oprah man, and we took him to New York City for a media writers event in Bryant Park. And I was so proud because that was the festival that was showcased that day. We had Chubby Checker show up, and we did Twisting Through the State of South Carolina for all the media writers. Most magazines in the travel and tourism industry are located in New York City. So that's why we got some Mexican sauce there too, New York City. So again, I can tell you all night long what we've done. If you're not familiar with our organization, we started the July 4th fireworks years ago, 27 to be exact, to let the community kind of get a feel for who we are and what we do. That's the only reason. Well, that thing has grown to be one of the top 20 events in the United States. It's been recognized for that. And over again, I've got 5 major national tournaments. All those little boats are getting off there at Lake Murray Boulevard. Where are they getting the gas? Where are they eating? You think that they're going to drive all the way to Newberry from here to eat? We're filling your community. And we just wanted to make the point of coming back here tonight with this request. Another thing we're doing is TripAdvisor. 1 in 16 people in the world, when they go to plan a trip, a vacation, they use TripAdvisor. We sponsor 9 cities on TripAdvisor. Irmo, we sponsor Irmo. Chapin, Lakewood, Lexington, Newberry, Slough, on and on. Columbia, West Columbia, Chapin, all of them. And that gives us control over the appearance of your page. You don't want negative comments up. Not that Irmo has any, because we monitor all that. But we try to showcase the hotels and the best that the town of Irmo has to offer on TripAdvisor. That cost us $46,000 a year to do that. So, we're spending the big bucks, but let me assure you, nobody gets more out of a dollar than our office. We just raised $106,000 in advertising, in print ads, digital web ads, and et cetera, for the South Carolina Governor's Conference on Tourism, and that was managed by my desk. Went to the Governor's Conference, turned around and purchased $30,000 worth of advertising for $7,000. So we're very aware of being accountable, of making sure the dollars are spent right. We don't fool around with that. We have a fundraiser now. Technically, the fireworks on Lake Murray can be qualified for this accommodations tax money to be used for that. But we said no. We want accommodations tax dollars used to market, as the law says, to generate more tourism revenues. And that's why we take it so seriously. Taste of Lake Murray is our fundraiser that raises the money for the fireworks. And then we have now an online campaign, and we have a direct mail piece that a lot of people that live around the lake are being very gracious and writing us checks, just donating to the fireworks. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions or comments.
Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
And to kind of say, and I guess, and Bobby put some notes in our briefing, but since we have a hotel, we didn't used to have one, now we get accommodations money, and I think it was $45,000.
$45,000, first time we had
Last
it.
year, or going to get this year, or?
It was a combination of the first 2 years.
Oh, okay. So maybe 20-something year or two.
I would guess probably around 30, yes.
Okay, okay. And then, based on that, I think the first $25,000 can go into
Our general fund.
general fund, and then everything above that, so much of it has to go to, like, your
Right.
group. And
Right,
so
As I
much
put in
to
my,
go-
as I put in the administrative brief, we had 20,000 left over, and 30% of that would go to Lake Murray Country, if anybody. I mean, that's the only.
We're the only ones that have a proven ongoing tourism program. And that's what the law's referring to when they're saying ongoing. You know, somebody might open up the door and say, yeah, got my shingle out now, I'm in the tourism business. But, you know, you really, I think,
You have to be certified or something.
well, you know, we've got 35 years of experience.
You said it was 30%?
Yeah, I think it's
30% of the
whatever's
20,000 would be
over that.
6,000.
Well, but then next year, it could be 30% of whatever's left over.
Well, we want to see the funds grow, for sure.
Every
We
year.
want to do everything we can to
And-
influence the tourists to stay here.
As far as, I know a couple of years ago, might have been a couple of years ago, there was the fishing thing, and we did something in town with the banners. Yeah.
Yes, we are bidding on that. Hopefully, we'll be back in 2017 or 2018 with it. I can't really say right now, but things are looking up. And we also, on that note, would like to put up a two-sided banner again for the summer events and have the one side up for the town of Irmo to use, whatever it is y'all want to promote. But as you know, we got those donated to you, and then we picked up the tab to print the banners for you as well. And we're willing to do that again. So whoever I need to get with, Bob, see what we can come up with.
And as far as, and I don't know, like if we give you that 30%, does it, I want to say, just get spent anywhere in that four county area, or does it focus
No,
on this area?
we do not
Or-
spend, that's why a lot of people don't know about us. We spend our money outside the 4 county area.
Mhm.
Now, you will see ads running for Taste of Lake Murray. You'll see billboards up for that event. That is paid for by our sponsors. We are, this notebook, I brought it as an example tonight, has 3,000 television ads that we ran in January to a mile radius of 750 miles of Columbia. These are the affidavits of all the 30-second ads that ran. And they're running in Raleigh, Durham, Winston-Salem, Charlotte, Augusta, Roanoke, Virginia, Richmond, Virginia. This is the kind of documentation that we have to provide to our funding partners. And if this council decides to be one of those, you would get copies of all of this documentation. I can tell you, he will need a new drawer in the town of Irmo office for our paperwork.
So that money really doesn't, say, you don't get it and then you spend it on promoting like a festival in our town or whatever.
No, sir.
It goes to advertise, like you said, outside of the area.
Well, now, through our website and through our visitor guide, we're going to promote the town of Irmo, the Okra Strut, or, various things, the Barbecue Blues. We actually are sponsoring this year at the Harbison Theater, the South Carolina Philharmonic, 3 concerts. Because that is a tourism draw to this area. That facility and that group, it's been documented, that they actually bring in overnights. So they got in, Midlands Tech got into where they needed some sponsorship. So we went and ended up 15 grand. So that is an exception. If it's a mechanism that's gonna turn the wheel and get money in our restaurants and in our hotels and at the gas pump and any other way we can, golfers on golf course, wherever. And we're also promoting golf, by the way. I can talk all night. I don't think you want me to.
Do I have any more questions?
Are you a nonprofit?
Yes, sir. We're 501c6. And there are 11 offices like ours in the state of South Carolina.
All right, Bob, you want to put that on the next agenda for me?
It'll be on the next agenda for approval of the council.
Right. Put that on the next agenda to fund her 30% of whatever we got left in that.
Okay?
Any more questions?
And I think it should be 30% of the gross, not 30% of what's left over, isn't it?
I think it's
30% of what's
30%.
left over after we take our 25,000 out.
That's what I'm saying, I mean,
There's only 20,000 left, so it's 30% of the 20,000.
well, that's this year.
For this, yeah, that's all we have right now. We have to do it on an annual basis so we can, because of the calculations required.
I understand, but
Every 12 months.
I thought Hardy just said that, we might get 36,000 next year.
That's right, and we do the same thing. 25,000 goes to the general fund, and then 16,000 would be left over, we take 30%.
That's what I'm saying, why are you taking 25 off the top? Why are we doing that and not giving her 30% of the gross?
That's the way the state law is written.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That would be,
I'm
South
trying.
Carolina code.
No, that's the law.
That's
We
right.
don't want to do anything with
And we
it.
can take that, whatever that first 25,000 is, and we put it in our general fund, and then whatever's left over, the 70%, we can use that to promote whatever we want to
Yes.
promote personally in town.
The 65%.
Yeah.
Yeah, or 60, yeah, whatever.
Well, we don't usually look for ways to give away money. Not usually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Huh? Next item is amendments on the agenda. Any amendments on the agenda?
I have a question, yes. I don't know whether it's an amendment or not, but the third and final reading of, under unfinished business, shouldn't we wait until Mr. Waits is back to vote on that, since he did the main revision to it?
We could, that's up to council. We can defer it, we can vote on it, we can, defer it. I think Councilman Walker has
I
some
want an amendment to
amendments
that.
too, so we can make those amendments and then defer it, or,
He had a lot to do with, and I
Yeah.
just hate to vote on it without.
But either way, even if, let's just say we don't defer it and it votes down, then it can also come back on the very next agenda and start back over too.
I don't think I could live through it. So,
Well,
but
I'm just saying, it's not necessarily dead, no matter what happens, it can
we
come
do
back.
have to have a precedent of when it's something controversial or whatever, that all of us have to be here. And especially since he had major input, I would
Well,
hate
we
to
can,
go.
once we get to that, yeah, we can kind of, at that time, kind of
Okay.
vote and decide, yeah. Consideration of communication, I got something here, I'm gonna give it to Bob, and he can make copies and give it everybody, and y'all may have got one too, I don't know. But I got an invitation in the mail to the South Carolina Prayer Fellowship, X amount of dollars a ticket and X amount of dollars a table. I can't remember if I ever been before, I think I have, but I'm not sure. But anyway, I'll give that to Bob, and Bob can send it out. March something, I'm just ready today, maybe I say that something.
March
But I
16th.
Okay, I wanted to let y'all know, so, but he can send that out, email, and make copies or whatever, and, we're interested, we let him know that by individual tickets or tables. Any other consideration of communication? Seeing none. Next thing is presentation by citizens. This is where anyone who would like to address council on anything that's on the agenda may do so. All we ask is you give us your name and address for the record, and also the agenda item you want to speak to. Anybody who would like to? Okay. And this would be for something on the agenda. Oh, no. Anyone? Seeing none. Next item is the unfinished business. And we can do this two ways. I'll ask for a third and final reading of motion. We can get a motion, we can get a second, we can discuss it, and we can discuss deferring all those. Or it can just start with a motion to defer. But is there a motion for third and final reading of ordinance 1602?
So moved.
And is there a second? If we don't second it, it dies.
I second.
Okay. All right, so we have a motion for third and final reading as written, and whatever the changes were made at the last one, which I think added a sentence for the founding of the Stratton, blah, blah, blah. Any discussion?
I have a motion to amend the ordinance In particular, it says in item B, on the ordinance, the Lake Mary Women's Club will not be charged any participating fees and allow them to keep 100% of the revenues earned from their 2 booths in the current orchestra. I'd like to remove the word current and just put orchestra. I don't know why we changed it to say current orchestra, but to me that means you're allowed to keep all your money from just this orchestra that's coming up and not any other future orchestras. So delete the word current there. And I think that's the only thing I had. I don't think it was anyplace else. Oh yeah, up in the paragraph, I don't understand the last sentence. It says to honor the Lake Murray Women's Club for their founding of the orchestra and for their continued charitable work in our community. And I think you're saying 75 million or 75 M following allowances and stipulations will be in place. I don't understand what that was.
I don't see that on my paper copy, but
It's on pages.
It's on pages, it says 75 M.
It does say 75 M.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
it may be,
We have to talk to the person who drafted it, that would be Mr. Waits,
No, some must have gone on pages
because he gave us what he wanted us to do.
75 million
That wasn't that,
allowances?
that 75 M
I
wasn't.
think it's supposed to be the, I bet there was I bet they didn't get, where was TA?
Right there. That's not two
No,
years.
somebody must have gone in there and hit something, because
There
that's
should
not on the
be the
original.
file. Yeah, it should be the file.
What should it be?
The file.
Just
So, the file. So,
Okay.
Yeah, like if you go,
All right.
if you go into pages and you do
You
something.
can
with
type
Google's,
it, you change
If
it.
you edited it
You
in
Change it for
anyway,
everybody?
Right.
Yeah.
So it made somebody could have done
the paper copy didn't.
Okay, so that should say,
the.
the following allowances and stipulations will be in place?
Correct.
Instead of 75 M? Okay.
I don't know how that.
75 million? I guess that's, I don't know. Okay,
So is that?
those are my 2 amendments. Now, if I don't need to amend that 75 M, if it does say the, then I'm cool with that. But I do want to remove that word current.
So there is a motion to amend from Barry to remove the word
Right, okay.
current.
Okay.
Is there a second? to
Second.
that?
And the 75 M is not in the written copy.
Right,
Okay.
yes, not in there.
Okay.
No, it's fine. I was just going by what was in the pages.
I understand.
So any discussion on the amendment to remove the word current? All in favor then of the amendment to remove the word current, do so with show of hands. There, so that. All right, so now we are at the third and final reading of the amended ordinance 1602. And we can either vote
All right.
or we can either defer.
Well, I have a comment on this. Not remove the word current. This is exactly like it stands right now. It reads exactly like it stands right now in the current ordinance.
Well, I think.
Except for the order.
Except for that honoring, that sentence, whatever.
No, it's in there. It's in the current ordinance. If you look in
No, because that one, the one that's in the book
Not-
right now doesn't have that. He added that.
the, okay, hold on a second. Look at, under the town codes,
And I may, I don't
under section 2-267.
have. Yeah, I've got the old one here.
Yeah, here it is right there. This one. Is that what you-
1504 or 1501, is it?
1504, right.
Yeah, too much stuff here.
Here it is right here. I mean,
Well, that, another one didn't have it here. 1504.
Yeah.
There we go. See, it just ends with, the symbol that the Oak Commission is amended as follows, add to section 267.
Right.
And then an
A.
agreement was reached whereas the town of Irmo would assume the responsibility to manage the festival with the following. And that other part is in there.
That's what he's got.
Yeah, but he's got to honor the Lake Murray Women's Club for their founding, the Orchestra for their continued charitable working. So that sentence is added in between there and there.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's added that one.
Okay.
So,
So I make a motion that we defer until Julius is here.
all right, so,
I
right
second.
now, there's a motion. To defer. Any discussion on the defer? Well, I'll go ahead and say something since I don't know where we're going, but, and you'll probably understand where I'm coming from already. I don't like either one. I don't like 1504, I don't like 1602. As I said before, the A, which is the exclusive rights, and the D, which is, or C, which is the selection, are both in the agreement, the MOU, or whatever they call that. So those are already covered. The Lake Murray Irmo Women's Club would not be charged any participation fees and allowed to keep 100% of the revenue, yada, yada. I don't like that because I don't think we're giving it to other 501(c)(3)s, and I think we're playing favoritism, and I don't think we can do that, should do that. I just don't agree with that. I think we ought to allow any, what I'm gonna call approved, just for shortness, nonprofit in South, or in Irmo, to also have the same benefits as far as not charging a fee. I think when we pick out the one to allow them 100% and not others, I just don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair. I don't think that's proper. But that's my opinion. So I wouldn't vote for either one because that's in there. The item D in the 1602, and I think it's E in the old one, says that they're allowed a voting seat. The current town ordinance under the Orchestra says that they have the right to nominate. So this conflicts with the other. So I don't know which one we're going to follow, or we're going to change something down the road, but one of them says they get to nominate, this one says they allow a voting seat. And I would be opposed to having an allowed voting seat on there when I think council has to make that decision. And basically that means they have more rights, in my mind, than the council does to put somebody on the commission. I don't agree with it. But that's my 2 cents on those 2 things. So therefore, I would vote against deferring it, or I would vote against passing it, just because I think it needs to be started over in a more particular, well thought out pattern. But so I would say no to both.
Okay, we knew that. We knew that.
Yeah, but I would also say no to defer. I would rather vote it down and let it start back over.
Well,
With some of these,
in the past.
because right now we're making changes at the 3rd reading, and we're going to vote for something, maybe, I don't know, without really, but that's it.
We've always wanted everybody here when we voted on something controversial. And I think it's a good precedent. I think we ought to stick with it. Especially since he had a role in writing this. I think it's respect for another member.
So, any more discussion on deferred?
We needed a second on the deferral.
She said that.
Kathy seconded, Mark, but yeah.
I thought that by making the changes that I recommended, that it brought this whole ordinance basically back to where it was originally.
Say that again.
The actual changes and modifications I asked to do tonight brought the ordinance back to what the original wording was, essentially, except for that one sentence. By us deferring it or waiting for somebody else to vote on it, what are we accomplishing? I don't understand. I mean, if it dies, then it goes back to the original. If we vote on it, it goes back to the original.
And then if it goes back to the original, we have to do this again 3 times.
Correct.
Right.
If we defer it, we can do it final.
Right.
Maybe, I mean, if you got 3 votes.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean, if we defer it, then it's going to pass in its amended thing. You know, like, if we don't defer it, I guess, then more likely it would die and then start back over. Yeah. Which,
It's tough.
I'd be satisfied with that, because I still want to argue about it, but
I
that's
understand. I understand.
You know,
But-
you like to argue.
So, any more discussion on deferring it? Right now, we're on to defer it.
If we do, I think the other part of the ordinance that has to do with this ought to be changed.
But then we got to fight on that for 3 times too, because
What other part of the ordinance?
Well, this is, what is
this
this?
conflicts with the other ordinance.
Yeah, change the other one just like this, or do away with, you know what I mean?
I'd
That
say do
part.
away with this, because I would argue that nobody should have an automatic seat on anything without us approving. Now, yes, we'd have to vote on that person, but whatever name they give us, if we didn't like it, then we'd have to send it back, they'd have to give it, we could play that game, so to speak. Right now, they can nominate somebody, and then it's up to council to, just like anybody can. Barry can nominate somebody, I can nominate, y'all can nominate, anybody can nominate somebody. But to say that they get an automatic, I think is kind of
So again, you're saying, you know, all you're saying is the women's club may allow for one seat.
right. But the other ordinance just says they get to nominate somebody. It doesn't say they're allowed a voting seat, it just says they get to nominate somebody. And
Right.
if we allow that, or not allow it. So it still comes back to.
But it says here, we have to still approve it, whoever they recommend. Right there, it says forward to council for appointment.
Yeah.
If you don't appoint them, then it's not, you know.
But they would still have the right to send to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way it is the other way, they just have the right to nominate, we can accept that person or turn it down and be done with it. So it's just, yes, they're a conflict with each other.
Okay.
So, any more discussion? All in favor then to defer this, do so with show of hands. All opposed to deferring, show of hands. So we are not going to defer it, now we're going to vote on it. Yeah, is that correct? I'm right there. All in favor then of the amended ordinance 1602 with the word current taken out, well, any discussion on that before we vote? Okay. All in favor then of the amended 1602 with the word current taken out, do so with show of hands.
The word current taken out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're voting for this to pass then?
Correct.
Okay, so it's 3, and I vote opposed, so it's 3-1. So 1602 passes as amended with the word current in it. Is that correct?
The word current gone.
Or word current gone, yeah. All right. Next item is new business. First reading of ordinance 1603. And this is the one from Gaston.
Yes, Tim has asked to have it deferred till
Yeah.
the next meeting.
Kim has asked this to be deferred. Actually, I got to meet with him Thursday, so it may be deferred more. It may be taken off the thing, so that he's there.
February 7th.
Yeah, that we not consider that at this time. So, next item is an approval to purchase a Chevrolet Impala from Love Chevrolet in the amount of $21,141 for the Irmo Police Department. Is there a motion for approval?
So move.
And is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Chief, I thought we were buying Caprices.
Last year we bought the Impalas to give us front-wheel drive capability, smaller engine, better gas mileage, and they're a lot cheaper than the Caprice. They'll start making the Caprice next year, then they'll stop making the Impala in 2 years.
But this is a V8,
B6.
V6? Can
we outrun people with a V6?
304. No, we chase, they try to outrun
Oh,
us.
I see. Got it.
But it's a V6, 304 horsepower, yeah.
How many?
304.
Well,
It's
304.
plenty for our town, yeah.
Wow.
And is this totally decked out?
No, that's not marked. It has it just has a light package in it. Siren light package.
Any more questions?
The Impala though is fine with you. I mean, it doesn't have to, okay.
Well, it's basically the same as the Caprice as far as body style, or are they changing the next one?
It's very similar, just a smaller engine. Basically, it's front wheel drive instead of rear wheel drive.
In the
Probably
first
has more
one?
room in it though.
A little bit,
I mean, it's tight up front. It was, that's,
Any more questions, discussion? All in favor then of the approval to purchase the Chevrolet Impala from Love Chevrolet in the amount of $21,141, do so with show of hands. All opposed? Next is a approval to contract with Shea Alexander Productions in the amount of $20,000 to manage concert series in the community park. Is there a motion for approval?
so moved.
Is there a second?
For conversation's sake.
If we, this is illegal. We can't do this without,
This is illegal.
we've got to bid this out.
Well, let's second it and let's discuss it then.
Well, there's another thing down here, you can discuss it during that part too, I think.
Yeah.
F or something, maybe, or G, I'm not sure.
We can't vote on it because it would not, we have to bid it out.
How do you have to bid it out? I mean, let's second it so we can discuss it.
Bob, do you want to explain that?
You can't prove $20,000. Our procurement code requires anything over $10,000 to be advertised and bid out, request for bids for any services.
Well, since we're discussing without second, that's a
Well, we're
bunch
not,
of hooey.
no, we're just
We
answering
didn't do that
questions,
last
we
time.
haven't got a second. So if there's not a second, then we'll move on to the next, but it is an item on there that we can discuss and discuss it more to kind of get a better idea of what we want to do. So is there a second?
Well, let's take it out of order then.
No second, then the motion will die for lack of second. But it's on there so we can still discuss it.
But we're going to discuss it down here under G.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next item is an approval of a mutual aid agreement with the Irmo Police Department in the city of North Myrtle Beach. Is there a motion for approval?
I make a motion.
And a second.
Second. Y'all want to go to bike week, is that right?
I don't know why, but a couple of them do.
Okay.
And this, just allows us, for the people out there who may not know, we do these so that they can actually go and get paid and have jurisdiction and authority and all those kind of things.
I hope they come back.
So, any more discussion? All in favor then of the approval of the mutual agreement with the city of North Myrtle Beach, do so with show of hands. Next item is the approval of mutual aid agreement with the Irmo Police Department and Camden Police. Is there a motion for approval on that?
So moved for the whole.
Festival vegetable.
That's the
Oh, Carolina.
This will be our 4th or 5th year helping them.
is there a motion?
So moved, yeah.
And a second?
Yes, I'll second.
And this one has to do with the Carolina Cup.
Yeah.
Same
Big,
thing.
big work.
All in favor then, do so with show of hands. And next one is a consideration of reduction of a surety bond from $92,995 to $78,525 for 100 Village Drive, Irmo Business Park. Is there a motion for approval of that?
Okay, so moved.
And a second.
A second.
And I guess, Mr. Brown, you can, he's done X amount of work and the county's accepted it. and
That's correct.
The only
This
thing
is
he's got
100 Village
left
off
is,
of Broad River Road.
he's just got $78,525.
Correct. He's still got work to do, but he's trying to lower his premium because he doesn't know when he's gonna get around to finishing up the infrastructure.
Yeah,
the
that's
back.
the place, it's kind of not complete yet. Okay. Okay. And this is something you're gonna keep up with and it won't expire on us?
Oh, well, that's why he's getting it, I guess, refinance is what you call, I don't know.
Yeah.
And you get two sets of eyes on this, right?
And any more discussion?
More than that, my beauty shop's on that street.
All in favor then of the reduction, do so with show of hands. And next is the approval establishment of a policy procedure to conduct concerts in the community park of Irmo. And I'm not 100% sure what all that stuff would be, but I'll make a motion for approval, and then we can figure out from there how. I don't think we can get it all done tonight, but at least maybe give Bob enough directions to figure out what we do.
How to write it.
Is there a second?
A second.
Yeah, I felt like since we had been approached by someone who wants to do this, we need to figure out what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. And again, as Bob said, we may have to either bid it out or we can do, I think what he called a proposal, where you request people's proposals, such as hers, and then people give us proposals and then we pick out what we'd like to have.
So how are you gonna bid out her?
Well, you wouldn't bid out her
proposal, how are you gonna bid out her proposal?
You wouldn't bid out hers. There's two ways. One is you bid it out and ask people to give us an idea of how much they're going to charge us to do concerts in the park.
Well, there it is, right there.
And then you get bids from multiple people and see who is who.
Oh, that's
But
interesting.
that's one at a time.
Okay.
And then the other alternative is we would not bid it out. We would ask people to give us requests for proposals, and each person could come give us their own plan, and then we pick out which plan we like. You know, they might say they want to do it this way, and we like that way. The main thing I think that we need to consider in all of that is, you know, what day of the week, when, what times, all those kind of things. If somebody has already booked the picnic shelter, how we work out that parking issue, security, whether we're going to allow X amount of people. I know, like the police department, when I think the church did something like that, one of the first things that came up was how many people are going to attend, and do we need extra police officers? They had no clue, and we kind of had to make up a number and say, well, we think this, and you got to have security or police officers. I think those are some of the things that we really need to kind of decide, and then I'll say, Bob,
And how
this is
often?
new for us because
Yeah. How often do we want this? I like the young lady's plan, but she had quite a few events in a 1 or 2 month thing. You know, maybe we don't want that many.
You want to do a week?
Yeah, 8 weeks in a row, and it was good. I like her
And
organization and everything, but maybe we don't want, maybe we want it every other, I don't know. We've got to decide that, and then put it out for.
I received a few calls from people saying, "Oh, wait a minute. I live right back in the park. I have some issues with this." And anyone who presents to this council that they want money from the town, to me, I want to see a business plan. I want to see from A to Z exactly what they intend to do, what they intend to make on this if it is for a profit, what they're going to need as far as police, what they're going to do for parking if there's more parking that's needed. I need to see all of that before it would get my vote. And I think in doing that, look, if you go for a business loan, that's exactly what they're going to ask you to do. They're going to ask you to do a business plan. And I've done it. It can be very time consuming, but when you do it, it actually helps you to understand exactly what you're gonna need in total. Many times you have a figure in your head that, you know, it's gonna cost $40,000, but when you actually do the math and when you actually go and find out exactly what you're gonna need, it's considerably more than that. And before this council gets the vote for the citizens of this community, I think we have to do our fiduciary duty and say, look, you gotta present a business plan to us.
Well, I'll ask the questions, maybe that'll help, but what do we need to, I would say, consider, that Bob can know what, and I don't know if he can call up another town and ask them, hey, y'all have a policy on whatever. I don't know, Columbia, they have healing parks, so I don't know what kind of, whatever. But the day of the week, I know, our days are what do you call it,
Yeah, every other Friday, you know, I don't know, but,
so
we've
the
done this.
timing and the date sets is one.
we've done this twice before, and it
Well, and I know the chamber did it, but also, I went to a lot of those chamber had it rained there Thursday too, so that killed it. I mean, you can't, you know, you can't help that. And then I think they changed it to a Sunday, and I went over one Sunday afternoon, and I don't know if we see anything we can do about fixing that, but I think it was at 3 o'clock, and the sun was coming over the top of the trees, and the band was backing up to the back of the stage as much as they could to get out of the sun. There's no shade. I don't know if we can build, you know, something, I don't know. And it was very hot and very humid that day. And I was backing up all the way to the back of the amphitheater trying to get in the shade too. And it was just miserable. And them guys were sweating like pigs up there. I mean, it was unreal. But, you know, I think there's some people that may not be happy with it back there every week for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
They might put up with once a week or once a month, or I mean, once a month, yeah.
Well, you're talking about specifically her proposal, okay?
Well, the
I
time.
mean, that,
Yeah.
all that's negotiable, that could be worked out. But what I'm hearing, and what I don't like, is you telling me that you want her to put a business plan together so you can go out and market it to other people. That's absurd.
No,
Well,
It is totally
no, that's
absurd,
not
because
what I'm saying.
you just said you want to put a business plan. You want to see a business plan before you would consider voting on anything to fund something like this.
Right.
And that tells me that you're looking for her to do the legwork, to put together a business plan, and then you want to bid it out and let other people match what her business plan is, or market her business plan around.
I'm not saying that at all.
Well, I mean, that's
That's not
not
what
what
I'm
I said, you know. But it's kind of interesting that all of a sudden now, you know, you gave the chamber $26,000 by just saying, okay, I want you to do this request, and then all of a sudden now this woman comes out for $20,000, and you want to throw all this minutia in front of her to get the same amount of money. I mean, that's odd. I mean, it's very odd. All of a sudden now it's illegal.
How much did we give the chamber?
You gave $13,000 for 2 years.
But it failed.
$26,000.
Well,
Well,
it's 10,000 the first year and 15 the second, I think.
it was $26,000 in 2 years.
For 2 years.
Okay, and it's just, you know, we never required them to put a business plan together, and we never required them
And it
to
failed.
bid it
And
out.
it failed.
And it failed.
Both years.
How do you know it failed? I mean, I'm saying,
I'm hearing from the other council
The
members that it
chamber
failed.
brought all the stuff back and said, we don't want to do this anymore.
Well, that's fine. I mean, maybe they didn't have the expertise, maybe they didn't have the planning that Ms. Alexander has. I mean, but she's put together a proposal, and now you're saying to her, oh, no, it's illegal for us to give away the money.
But it is.
But you did it, though. You did it for the chamber for 2 years.
To do it.
Well, I
That
mean,
was years ago.
this woman's giving us a proposal to do the same
We're
thing.
not asking, but we weren't asking anybody.
Okay, so
No,
when we have a constituent ask us, it's illegal, but we can just give it to somebody because we wanted to do
I
it.
don't think we ought to do it at all.
Well,
Our proposal
That
was-
sounds a little fishy to me, okay?
Well, I will address some of that.
Maybe the people will talk about it. I don't know.
What I heard Mark said was that he would expect anybody that's coming to ask for money to do that, and whether it's her or them or somebody else, the same thing. She had called me, I guess, I don't know, back in January or something, and I had told her, come to the council meeting, put it on the presentation, and give us your best shot to get this thing started, we'll figure out from there.
Okay, and that's what she did.
And she did, but that doesn't mean we contract out with anybody, and I, for one, I don't care how many people come in here and give us a plan, I don't know that I would honor any of us requests for money. The first thing that I would look at is how many people are gonna do it for no money. And
That's fine, but then say that, don't tell her you're gonna,
That's what I'm
don't tell her
telling
you're gonna take her proposal and then go market it and bid it out.
you. And let me finish.
We wouldn't do that.
But let me just say this, to speak to that. If we do a request for proposal, and we ask 15 people, whoever come in here and give us a request for proposal, it would not be out of line whatsoever to take that best proposal we got, bid that one out, and see who's gonna give us the best.
Yes, it would.
No, it wouldn't.
You're gonna take somebody else's idea, say, I need your idea how to do this, and we're gonna bid it out for somebody else
I'm
to
just
do it.
saying you could. I'm not saying it would be good or best or whatever, but yes, you could.
Okay.
And frankly, it does that a lot. People get requests for proposals, and then they take the best one, and then they bid it out and see who's gonna do it. This is something that since we just happen to have a new park, and now one of the things that when we built the park, it was discussed that it would be used for concerts in the park. And, I agree that probably there needs to be some there. Whether it's every Friday night for 8 weeks, or whether it's once a month on Sunday, I have no clue. I really don't. And again, if somebody said in the chamber, I think because they're 501, whatever they're called, that's a different animal than a profit. We're asking, in a way, or they're asking, anybody would be asking, that comes in here and gives us a proposal, they're gonna do it to make money. So they're asking us for a $20,000 loan to start their business to make money.
Yeah, it was a
I don't know
loan.
that, it's not a loan, but it is, we're giving them money to start a business, and I don't know that that's our business to do that either. But I am interested in trying to figure out how we do this, and how we set it up to where the citizens will be happy, the town will be happy, whoever runs it will be happy, and hopefully they can make money and we'll want to do it again. The chamber, again, had rain, and after the last year of doing it, they earned $57 off $13,000, and they said, we can't do that. Because you gotta get a lot of people there, they gotta sell a lot of beer, and they did. They may turn around and come back and say, well, if you're gonna give them 20,000, we'll do it for 20,000, and we'll make 7,000 minus 57 or whatever. I don't know. But I think it is something you need to decide and discuss, and then how we get there, I don't know.
We need parameters. I'm sure you've got some, right?
Well, and I think Bob can come up with any, but it's really up to us as a council to say, here's what I would agree to, here's what again, I don't know if City of Columbia, Casey, West Columbia has that riverbank.
Well, if you ask for proposals, you're gonna get their input on what they can do for us and what it would cost. If you bid it out, you gotta give them specifications.
Yeah, you bid it out, you got to
do
do
what.
Lexington is building, amphitheater. I don't know if they're going to, we might check with them and see if they came up with anything that would help us either start with the guidelines to bid it out, or just ask people to come give us their best shot and then be either yay or nay, either one. I don't know. I think we ought to do something because it's there.
I agree.
I would be irritated if I was having a family reunion there and I rented out a picnic shelter and have people come into town, and then the farmer's market's the same weekend, or the concert in the park's going, and there's no parking, and I think I paid for it. So I think we need to consider some of that stuff. I think I heard last year or the year before when the church used the amphitheater for their little concert for one day. That it cost $400 to rent that stage because there's electricity used for a basement. I don't know whether $400 is appropriate or adequate, but if it's a nonprofit group, do we give it to them for nothing? If it's a for-profit, do we charge it?
These are all the policies we need to make.
Yeah, these are all things that need to be kind of discussed and figured out what's what. And the hours and the time, and also we had that debate a couple of years ago with one of the bands that the truck was very loud, and we bought a little whatever machine to do decibels, and did we come up with anything? Or we didn't come up with anything. We just said it couldn't be over something, or.
Yeah, we do a whole lot of, you gotta do a lot of research and go downtown.
So.
Maybe we could send all our ideas to Bob and let him
That would be good.
formulate something.
Send all our ideas to him, and tell him to call City of Columbia or West Columbia and Lexington and ask them.
I mean, as far as this particular concert series that Shay proposed, the town knows what it takes to put on a festival. And this, in essence, is a very small festival. So you know that you're going to need police officers there. You're going to need the possibility of buses because you don't have enough parking there. You're going to have to bring vendors there because these people, unless you want them to bring their own drinks and food, they're going to need those things. There's a lot to consider here. So it's difficult to make this based on a vote. To that, I think we have to do, I think we have to have a workshop on this.
All right, that's a good idea.
Have what?
Have a workshop.
On her proposal?
Just
On the guidelines,
on the policy.
doing things like
Let's
this.
go back to what her proposal is. Do y'all want to give her the money or not? I mean,
No, her proposal was dead.
We
the
can't,
proposal is dead?
Her proposal was dead. There was not a second.
I don't think it was accepted. Y'all never voted on it, but.
we can't, it's 20,000, we can't
Well-
do this without bidding it out or.
But my point is, you did it for the chamber. You gave them
No, we
$26,000.
asked the chamber, no, we gave them 10 and 13, right? 10 or, right, Bob?
I think you said 13.
We actually gave 13 for the first year, and then that's when Tiffany left. And the second year, we kept 13 for this year's budget, but they didn't want to do it again.
So we only did it once.
We
They
asked
did
them
it one
to
year,
do
they
it.
had a little extra money. They had like $4,000 left over.
I thought this would be dead, because we asked them to do it, and they didn't want to do it.
We asked them, I thought they came to us and asked us.
No, I think we asked them.
No, they came to us and said, we want to do a concert series. They asked us to put it in the budget.
We went to them. We went to Tiffany.
Of course we did.
We went to Tiffany.
Well, let me ask this. If every council member wrote their own preferred list of things to consider, and how they would want it, maybe, you can even come up with your own. Send that to Bob, and then he can take all that stuff and get those other 3 towns and whoever else, I don't know, Camden has them. And then we have a work session for March 15th.
But budget
Budget.
workshop.
So
And we can add
would you
something
want to have one before that date or after that date? I would say after that date, to give more time. But, so sometime after March 15th, between there and our next council meeting, unless we want to have it before the April, whatever first meeting in April is. Would y'all want to do that or have a separate time? Because it's probably going to be some lengthy discussion as opposed to having it 1 hour and be under a time constraint.
Yeah.
So,
Because we failed twice.
Yeah.
It deserves.
yeah, but that, I think, had a lot to do with weather too.
Well, it may be, but we failed twice.
I mean, I think a lot of
We
towns
need to
have
be
time
careful
constraints
what we do.
and they make it.
Well, it's important to get the right time and the right day. I mean, the chamber averaged about 15 people, so you wouldn't need, we didn't need anything. It's just, they either picked the wrong
I
day.
mean, you know, the day of Friday might be good.
Yeah.
The Thursday didn't work out good, we didn't get it right. The Sunday, I don't know.
15 people.
That's what they averaged. They showed up, they had about 6 say something out, please.
Yeah. But most of them, like I say, they even had a big tent up one time, and they were big enough, everybody left.
That's the thing, you gotta advertise this thing, you gotta get it out there. And again, that costs money.
And that was, I think part of their plan, there wasn't enough money in that 13 to in take advantage. So. So, any more discussion? Well, we got a motion and a second, so I guess we can vote on this. Is there all in favor then of an approval to establish a policy and procedure to conduct concerts in the community park? All in favor of that, do so with show of hands. Next item is presentation by citizens. This is where anyone who would like to address council on anything, regardless of whether it's on the agenda or not, may do so at this time. All we ask you to give us your name and address for the record. Anyone who would?
George
You're
Glassman,
always up there right now, look up.
George Glassman, 100 Denbeck Road. While it's not required, I want to tell you, I want to address item 10G that you just finished. And
10 what?
10G, not that I have to, pardon me?
I'm not sure your microphone is on.
It should be. Did it die?
Is there a switch? The green light's on, does that count?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, it's working. Thank you. Can you hear me? Okay. The mayor asked an excellent question regarding this establishment to conduct concerts. He wants to do what the citizens are happy with. I'm a citizen, I'll tell you what I'm happy with. Two things. First of all, I'm very happy if we follow the law. And there's a procurement code in this town that has to be followed. That's called the law, Mr. Walker. And of course, given your personal history, I understand you may not be interested in doing that, but nonetheless. The second thing that is going to make me happy is to not do it. Given the prospect that this town is, the very real prospect that this town is going to lose revenue from business licenses if the legislation is before the General Assembly is enacted, this council needs to start pulling in its purse strings right now. Because I'm far more interested in having uniformed police officers on the street in this town 24/7 than I am having a concert in the park. Thank you.
And by the way, that $100 max or minimum, whatever it was, has been taken out of that bill. So it's off the table. Of course, it could put it back in.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it back on.
You know, if anyone else would like to address council?
Hello,
Hey there.
Shay Alexander. You need my address, you said?
Yeah.
311 Loughlin Road, 29212. Regarding my proposal for a concert in the park, let me go back a little bit. I feel the need to clarify some things. The mayor and I played telephone tag because I had an idea and a passion to bring music to the town of Irmo outside of the orchestra. So when I finally spoke with the mayor, it was a 45-minute conversation about music and about the park and the possibility of what can happen in Irmo Park. My proposal was asked for from the mayor and Bob Brown. The mayor referred me to Bob Brown so I can sit and have a conversation with him. When we spoke, I was under the impression that he also thought the concert series would be a good idea. Parts of what I put in the proposal came from my conversation and the mayor's desire to have music. You know, good idea. So I did that. As far as the business plan, I'm very much aware of what it takes to put together an event. I brought Caribbean Family Day to Finley Park for 3 consecutive years. It was a success. It's no longer various reasons. I've done 5 music award shows. I have the budget laid out. What I did not do was to place all my information in my proposal. It has been brought to my attention that my proposal was forwarded to the chamber and since forwarded on to several other people. If the mayor is saying that the chamber can easily say, hey, I want to do it myself, well, I would understand why, because they have my proposal. I had a meeting with the manager, I forget her name, a lady at the chamber, and by their own admission, their concerts failed because they did not promote it. They're not in the business of entertainment. I am. I am Shay Alexander. I am music. I'm the person whom Dionne Warwick calls when she needs some information about what's going on in the media world. Shirley Rao reaches out to me on a regular basis just to say, hey girl, what's going on? Walter Beasley, hey, where there can I come and just do a jam session? I am music. I am entertainment. It's what I do. It's who I am. And so I'm fully aware of the cost, from the trash removal in the park, what it would cost to remove the trash, to the police force, to the parking. I have it all mapped out. And I was prepared to amend my proposal to withdraw my request for funds, because I was prepared to do it without your assistance. Doug Barker from East Coast Entertainment blew up my telephone, called me nonstop to speak with me because he was so excited about the prospect of this and offered to do it with me. Following the meeting, my presentation, I could barely get out the door for people telling me what a great idea it was and what it's needed in the town of Irmo. I got an email today from the newspaper to talk about the concert in the park. So obviously, the word about the concert in the park got out. And again, I was prepared to amend it to shorten the time frame and to do this event in conjunction with East Coast Entertainment. Sadly, it won't happen. I wish I could have withdrawn my proposal before you vetoed it. It will happen. I was hoping that it would happen in this town. I don't live in Irmo, but I feel as if I am a part of Irmo and the community. I feel that I have something to bring to this town. I've been doing this since 1991. I didn't just start yesterday. I built an online radio station by myself from the ground up that now reaches 5.5 million listeners and growing. And it's talked about. Shay Alexander may not be known in the town of Irmo, but it's known in the world of entertainment and in the music industry. So that's my piece. I'm sorry, I wish I could have done it. I feel that it would have been great and orderly and fun and family friendly. It will happen. Unfortunately, it seems it won't be at your park.
I have to say this because I didn't know anybody asked you to do this. I had no idea.
I asked her to come to the council and speak because she had called me about it and when it was her idea, and I'm not gonna make that decision, so I told her to come and give us her.
But I thought all your ideas were good,
Yeah.
but I knew if we voted on it tonight, on 20th, it's illegal. That was my only contention. I still think it's a good idea.
And that word concerns me though, because
It's illegal.
did we not know?
No, it's always illegal to vote on that.
Did the mayor not, because I told the mayor what I would need when we had a conversation. Did the mayor of the town of Irmo and Bob Brown, did they not know that this is illegal before asking me to present a proposal? That's, the word, I understand it's illegal. I now understand it. My question is, before I sat down and took the time to work out a budget, a huge budget, and the $20,000, as they say, it's a drop of water in the Atlantic Ocean. It really is. It was the supplement to pay for the artist, because the artist for a period of the weeks I intended to go for is $21,400 for the artist. I know the artist. I know who I have in mind. I know the crowd they draw, the type of environment they create. So had I known it was illegal, I would not have asked for it. It wasn't my intent to break the law or anything along those lines. I simply had an idea and a passion for what I do and thought it would be a good idea to do it in the town of Irmo. So,
The legislator said that the chamber got a copy of the proposal.
the chamber has, someone emailed a copy of my proposal to the chamber. I don't know, but they have it.
I haven't,
I didn't.
and I haven't.
They have it. And I went to a ribbon cutting ceremony shortly after my presentation and had a great conversation with the lady that
Carrie Powers.
Right, exactly. I'm sorry, I forgot her name. And she said, hey, someone emailed me a proposal. I think it's a great idea. We tried it. It didn't work. But to be honest with you, we didn't promote it. We just didn't know what we were doing. It's like, well, you kind of need some promotion. Just a little bit, at the very least. So you will hear about Rhythm in the Park or Rhythm ... And by the way, that is my name. That is my logo. That is my name. That cannot be used by the town of Irmo in anything you do. I'd like that on record. So you will hear about it. And perhaps when you see it in motion, because oftentimes you have a hard time envisioning something new or something that you have not yet done until you see it. So perhaps once you see it in motion, we can revisit this next year or the following year. But again, I was prepared to, I'm supposed to be in bed. I had surgery last week to repair a tendon. My foot should be up, elevated, but I had to be here because I thought I'd have an opportunity to say, hey, let's do it with no funds because I'm going to do this. But since you have to have a workshop and all that, again, we can perhaps revisit this next year. I don't know.
I still think it's a good idea. And
Thank you.
There's many council members that think it's a good idea.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
And also just to say, I'm not asking you to fund my business. My business is up and running. It's fully functional and very lucrative. So I'm not asking for a business loan. I wasn't asking for a loan. I was simply asking for the city to supplement this project, somewhat of a joint venture. So a business plan I've done it. I have two. And I have the budget for this. I have everything that's involved in putting together a concert series.
Yeah, but I'm sure you don't want to give us a business plan.
I did
Have us
not.
market it to other people.
I will not.
Execute it.
I will not do
makes
it.
sense
No.
to me.
No, so,
If you do that, then, I got some other way on stuff.
no, but again, it was not my intent to break the law or to disrupt some of the
you
residents.
didn't break the law.
Well, by asking for
No,
the
you
funds.
You didn't. We would have broken the law in giving it.
Okay.
and somebody
That's
else
it.
told you that. So
I wish they had. It would have saved us a whole lot of time.
Well, like I mentioned that night, I said, if you come to us and present something to us and you want to rent our thing, that's one policy, that's one procedure. If you want money, then there's a whole can of worms that gets opened up with that thing.
Right.
We got to, go through.
Right.
all
And you
the
said,
stuff.
well, I'm going to turn you on. I'm going to refer you to a couple of people. Right. And I did.
And we'll get things.
And I did. So, now we know. If nothing else, I opened the room for discussion. And
Yes.
you can now create policies, SOPs, policies and procedures
Yes.
moving forward to have this done. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank
make
you.
sure it's what gets done.
Thank you.
And anyone else? And by the way, if this is who I think it is, this is someone who I said the same thing. Come to a council meeting, during presentation by citizens, give us your idea, plan, best shot, and we'll kind of open the door.
Give me a second.
And you are,
My name's Tony Orbeck.
okay, you're the gentleman I
Yes.
thought, yeah, okay.
Okay, what's your name, sir? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. My full name is Anthony Orbeck III. I live at 113 Bow Church Court.
Okay.
One, two, three, what?
Bow Church Court.
Both, okay.
What's up your power?
Yep. I'm sorry for this.
So,
Go ahead. Watch out where you're going.
can you run that for me then? Sean?
Yep.
Okay.
Is this about chickens?
Yep. You better sit back and drink a soda. Now, I didn't know this, but I told him, come, give us his best. So, we'll let you go ahead.
My name's Tony Orbeck. I'm a citizen of Irmo, the town of Irmo. I want to say thank you to Irmo, Mayor King, and the City Council for an opportunity to present this to you. I've had this idea for a little while now. One, when I had my daughter, she loved eggs. That was one of her first 5 words. And I started talking to people recently, and there's actually a lot of interest in this. So I wanted to go ahead and go through this presentation to talk about this. I had some help. Sean Brown is another Irmo town member. Robin Wharf also helped with this, and Heath Jones, who can be here. He's pretty sick, like a lot of other people. Sean. So just a quick introduction, what we're going to talk about really quick. This isn't going to be very long. We're going to talk about, we want to rebuild American traditions, basically keeping hens. There's a lot of benefits to this, including with our children, and we'll go through more of this. I'm going to make some recommendations for some zoning code changes, and then we'll conclude through it. Hen keeping, chicken keeping has been around for a very long time. When the Mayflower came over, they brought chickens. Chickens are not native to America. They actually came out of India and Asia. Since they've been here, there's been a lot of things happening. The first exhibition is not P.T. Barnum. There was actually one a few years before that. And P.T. Barnum was really the one who took the exhibitions all over. He started in New York and it went everywhere. And these were just chicken-type exhibitions. Family farms, I mean, you know from just looking in the country to even the inner city in New York, people used to keep chickens, mainly for food and eggs and everything else that they can provide. Right before World War I and shortly after there was a lot of commercialization of eggs. You know, this is basically where you go to your grocery store, you go and buy your eggs. But the biggest difference here is when they looked at when they started commercializing it, they had flocks of 400 or more. That was considered a large flock. After World War I, more commercialization. People, did go to the grocery store to get their eggs, but a lot of people still did a lot of family hen keeping. The Great Depression happened. A lot of people went into raising their own chickens, getting their own eggs. Main reason, obviously food. There was a big lack of income at the time. People even were very thrifty, and they used to use feed bags for clothing and other means. Today, people are still keeping hens. You see them in sitcoms every once in a while. Even now, today in the town of Irmo, people are keeping hens and chickens. You don't see them too often, but every once in a while you do see one going somewhere. And many people are building more attractive coops. They're building architectural lookalikes. They either look like the house. They're very attractive items. So some of the benefits. Basically, who doesn't love organic fresh eggs? I don't know if you've ever tasted them. They are delicious and they are different than what you see in the grocery store. Insect control. We have a problem with mosquitoes anymore, especially the large mosquitoes that are coming in from Florida. Chickens eat mosquitoes. They eat other bugs. A lot of people will put the coops over their vegetable garden. You have instant bug control. Teaching your kids responsibility. Today there's a lot that our kids are going through. Responsibility is getting harder and harder to teach our kids. As long as if they have dogs, if they have cats, why not chickens? Educating our children about food. Where does your food come from? How does it get there? Where does the egg come from? A lot of kids really don't know that. Waste, recycle. Your scraps from when you're cooking at home. Just not recycle it or go down the garbage disposal. Chickens eat a lot of vegetables that you waste, from carrot slices to pretty much anything else. fertilizer. Well, you know, they sell it at Home Depot and Lowe's. You can actually produce it yourself. They do make great pets. I know one person that's out of the town limits where the kids go, they grab them, they bring them in the house, and they have no problems with them. They are actually very loyal animals. Cost volatility at the stores. Just recently I went to Kroger's, and it's not right now, it's probably about 2 weeks ago, and your standard eggs were $2.79 for a dozen. They're back down to $1.99, but if you take it to the next step, that are the free-range chickens, they're probably around, I want to say, $2.99. And then if you go for the organic chickens, they're $3 and up. I've seen them even at $5 at Kroger's. Now, if you go to your local farmer's market, you're typically paying about $5 for a dozen eggs. Surrounding areas, one of the things we did was try and talk to some of the other councils and other cities and towns and see what they were doing. From what we saw in this general area, we're the only town or municipality that doesn't allow people to keep hens. Columbia, Lexington, West Columbia, obviously anybody in the county area, they're allowed to keep hens. So with that, you know, the current zoning, this is it right here, section 6.8. I'll try and read it pretty quickly. Hogs, cattle, chickens, horses, and stables. It shall be unlawful for any person to keep hogs, pigs, cattle, chicken, horses, or stock, stables, and chicken houses, or barns, except the agricultural zone property. All stables, houses, and barns shall be kept in a clean, sanitary condition, and the manure not allowed to accumulate. All such animals shall be contained in an enclosure appropriate to the safety and health of the animals and citizens, in the discretion of the zoning administrator. So the funny thing I wanted to say about that, so we can keep ducks, we can keep peacocks, which are very intrusive animals, but chickens, don't know. So one of the suggestions for a zoning code is, let's remove chickens and chicken houses from the zoning code to change that. And then some recommendations for the zoning code. We want to make sure that it's hens only. We know there's a lot of issues with roosters that are loud, and I don't personally want to be waking up at 4 in the morning. We're recommending 4 hens per household. If there's an HOA, let them go ahead and make restrictions or any changes that they would prefer. We understand that some people will not like this. Coops should be, 15 to 20 feet from the property line. Hens should be mainly kept in a coop, and we're also recommending a $20 permit fee. We know something needs to be done to manage this. Potential issues, there's always good things with, anything somebody's going to present you, and we do understand there is some potential issues. Chickens can get out. They could be in a neighbor's yard, and I'm sure you could get some calls for that. Someone's pet eats a chicken. Well, obviously that's going to create some issues. But, with those two there, that's happening today probably with people's animals. A Rottweiler eats a Chihuahua, a Rottweiler eats somebody's cat. That happens. Lack of care of hens. Sometimes people start something and they don't take care of it. Well, I've smelled things out of my neighbor's yards at times too, and it just happens. I don't think those are anything excessive, but we mentioned it as a potential issue. One of the big things we thought we might have understood was that people be worried about bird flu. Well, it turns out if you have a few birds in a coop, they really don't have a great chance of getting bird flu. Bird flu, from what I've read, has been typically with large flocks. Your flocks that are flying from one side of the country to the other side of the country. For a domesticated bird in a small coop, you have a very low chance of anything happening with that. And there is a link there to some research, and I do have some copies of this presentation for you. So in closing, just want to talk about getting back to the family tradition. Let people be able to keep hens and raise those eggs for themselves. Education for our kids. They really don't get exposure to this in some of the schools. Organic food source. Our food is so commercialized anymore. We are losing nutrition in our foods. This would be a great way of getting some of that back. We don't know the exact process of moving forward with this. Don't really know if we need to have a vote on this tonight, but we also want to get this on the agenda as well. So I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. One last item. We do have a petition, and we do have 87 signatures on the petition. They are all Irmo residents. One of the things I did, I made sure I wrote Irmo's on the petition, so we do have that to present as well.
And I will ask presentation by citizens. Is there anyone else who would like to address council? Seeing none. Next item is an executive session. We do have something on here for a legal matter, and we will go into executive session. Is there a motion to go into executive session? Is there a second? All in favor?
Who's second? I couldn't hear it.
Mark second. We will go into executive session, and then we will come back out and adjourn. We are out of executive session, no votes were taken, and no decisions made. We just get an update. And next thing on our agenda is adjournment. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion.
And a second? Second. All in favor of adjourning, do so with saying aye, aye, aye. Did you say aye, aye, aye? We are adjourned.